Hey everyone, Tim Stoddard here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're doing another book review. I got a lot of positive feedback from my previous book review of Think and Grow Rich, and I love to read, so I decided that I'm gonna add book reviews as a recurring theme in my channel. And today, we are going over one of the more influential business books I've ever read. It's called The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. I need to start this video with a story. Yesterday, I was beat on a deal from a competitive market, a competing marketing agency for a client. And this rarely happens. I'm a good salesperson. I've really practiced my pitch. My company has the best reputation in the space, and so it's very, very rare that I lose deals to competing agencies. And ultimately what happened is I got undercut on price. I knew I had a really compelling offer. I knew that I had built a great relationship with the owner of the business that was thinking about hiring me. And I'm expensive. And they wanted to go with a cheaper company. And so I lost the deal on price. And it really bothered me. I'm a very competitive person. I was walking around my living room for at least an hour, just brooding over the fact that I had lost this deal. I'm not like an outgoing competitive person. I don't talk a lot of shit, but internally, like in my heart, I hate losing. I hate it more than anything. I love to win. And it was in this process of me moping and being grumpy about the fact that I lost a deal that I was reminded of the infinite game. When Simon Sinek starts the book, he starts with a brilliant example, which is the Tet Offensive. Anybody who's a history dork like me, you know that in the Vietnam War, the Tet Offensive, the Tet is a Vietnamese holiday. It's the day before like their Lunar New Year. And it was a turning point in the war. It was a part of the Vietnamese army, the Viet Cong, and they planned it out to perfection, and they surprised the Americans with, I think it was like 10 or so different battles all at the same time. The catch is that the Vietnamese lost basically every single battle of the entire war. But it doesn't really matter because they were playing a different game. They were playing an infinite game, and the American military was playing a finite game. And that brings us full circle to the point of this book and how this all pertains to business. In the book, Simon Sinek defines games as having there's two different variables of games. There's a finite game, which is defined as having defined players, defined rules, and a defined objective. So sports is a common analogy. Everybody knows that when you play sports, there's an agreed upon set of rules. There's an agreed upon set of players, and there's like an agreed upon objective. Everybody playing the game knows what the point of the game is. And the purpose of the game is to achieve that agreed upon objective, right? But in an infinite game, there is known and unknown players. There's no agreed upon rules. The rules change a lot of times without the players even knowing that the rules are changing. It's very dynamic. And the outcome is simply to keep playing. The objective is to just keep playing the game. That is the point of the infinite game. And so this book was so impactful to me because, like I said, I'm a competitive person, and I like to see business as a sport. I like to see business as something that like I can win. I can compete against other people and I can win. But win under what standards? Win under what metrics? Because the game I'm playing isn't the same game as what other people are playing. So ultimately, the point of this book is to understand that in business, there is no such thing as winning. It's not possible. Because what I think is winning isn't even an objective that is like on the radar of somebody else that I'm perceived to have a competition with. It doesn't exist for them in the same way that they might be competing against me in a way that I don't even think of. There really is like there's no agreed upon objective. So how could you possibly win at something where the two players aren't even competing for the same thing? And so when you take this mindset on business, it frees you up from a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress on yourself, and a lot of unnecessary restrictions that you put on yourself because you think that you're trying to achieve a specific objective. Whereas if you just lift those restrictions and you look at the purpose of the game, the objective is simply to keep playing, then all of a sudden you're free to do whatever you want. Okay, so some of my critiques of this book. I really only have one critique of the book, and it's the same critique I have with basically every business book, is that it's just too damn long. Like, the book was very informative, and I really enjoyed reading the whole thing. Simon Sinek is a great writer, and he writes very conversationally, and so there was never a point of the book where I felt like, okay, like I'm over this. It was all very enjoyable to read, but this book could be half as short. It really could be. I mean, it could probably be this long. It could probably be 100 pages, and he could get his entire message across. I mean, I basically just told you what the entire book is about in what is now like a 6.5 minute video. And so I think people can get just as much value from this book if they read like a blog post about it, or even if they read like some notes that somebody did on it. And so in that regard, I did think that the book was like a little bit redundant, because he fills the pages basically with example after example after example of businesses that play finite games and ultimately fail, and businesses that play infinite games and succeed because their definition of success and of winning was different than what the more short-term, like objective-oriented businesses are. But other than that, I love the book. I really, really do love the book. It was one of my favorite business books I've ever read, just because it was so easy and simple and lighthearted, and like you could really breeze through it. But the lesson of the infinite game, more than anything, is what really, really speaks to me, because I fall into this trap often. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you loved it. I'm going to put a link to the book in the description. It's not an affiliate link. I just like to suggest great books to people, because like I said, I love to read. And subscribe to the newsletter at timstodds.com, TIMSTODZ.com. I appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you later. See ya.